Welcome to an online workshop presented by Employment Services in Athabasca, Barrhead, Westlock, and Whitecourt. Today's workshop is Ace the Interview, tips and tricks to land the job you desire. So what is a job interview? It's an opportunity to meet face-to-face or sometimes virtually or over the phone. It's a time to discuss your qualifications. It can feel uncomfortable to talk about yourself, but it's very important to highlight your strengths to the interviewer. It's a chance to demonstrate your skills and abilities. It's a great idea to give examples of these. It's a back and forth conversation that provides you with the opportunity to show off your personality and sell yourself. It's not a great time to be shy. It's a chance for both of you to see if there's a good fit for the position. I think we can all agree that interviews can be stress-inducing and nerve-wracking. It's very normal to feel some anxiety surrounding an interview. Having anxiety shows that this is important to you and that you care. Do your best to prepare and know that it's okay to admit you're nervous. The interviewer will likely understand. It's good to keep in mind that the employer is already interested in hiring you. Take a deep breath. There are some things you can't control. Take care of what you can control and leave the rest. Employers use a variety of interview types to find the right candidate for the job. A screening interview is typically a short interview, often held over the phone or online. It is used to eliminate candidates who do not meet the qualifications for the position. Sometimes an employer will include an aptitude or proficiency test that checks a candidate's skills, such as writing ability or problem solving. A behavioral interview is an interview that asks specific questions about prior employment to determine how you've handled situations in the past. Questions in a behavioral interview may start with, describe a time you were, or how did you react when? A panel interview is an interview that is conducted by 2 to 4 people within the organization. These interviews are used by the employer to gain perspective and input from people in a variety of roles. An individual interview, also referred to as a personal interview, is the most common type of one-on-one interview that is usually held face-to-face. Be prepared to answer a wide range of questions about your skills and experience and why you're right for the job. Some behavioral questions will also be asked. In addition to finding out if you have the right experience with the job, the employer wants to see that you're well prepared, enthusiastic, and a good fit for the team. With organizational changes due to COVID-19, many employers are also transitioning from in-person interviews to video interviews using Zoom or Skype. Technology has made this a very viable method. You may be doing this interview from your home or at one of the company's remote locations. It can't be emphasized enough that you treat this interview in the same manner as a face-to-face interview. From your attire to your professionalism, remember that they can see you and read your expressions. It is also important to ensure that you have the video chat program that will be used for the interview downloaded and tested to ensure there aren't any glitches. Luckily, following some steps to be prepared before and during an interview can significantly reduce your stress and help you feel more confident and assured. Before the interview, it's a good idea to learn more about the company and position you'll be working in. Assess what your best skills and strengths are. Practice some sample questions and prepare answers to commonly asked questions, and plan ahead. It is also wise to prepare for the stages during an interview, which include the greeting, question period, and the closing. It can be helpful to take a big to small approach when completing research in advance for an interview. First, spend some time learning about the company. Most employers want to see that you've done your homework, learned about their business, and have some understanding of their workplace culture, values, and organizational structure. Be sure to check out multiple sources, including their website and social media pages. You can also learn about a company by searching them on Indeed or LinkedIn and reading the reviews and experiences of current and former employees. Next, read through and review the job posting and position description. Look at the job requirements and think about how and why you're qualified for the role. Read each of the responsibilities that will be expected of you and plan how you could answer questions related to those duties. Lastly, find out the name of the person or persons conducting the interview. What position do they hold? Are they listed on the company website? Any research on the individual leading up to the interview will pay off when you can demonstrate an understanding of their role and where they fit within the organization and how their position will relate to yours. Before the interview, it's a good idea to take an assessment of your strengths. Jot down a list of your best skills, strengths, and experiences. Ask yourself, why am I a good fit for this job? Look at the job posting and create a list of your assets that match the job requirements. Think of all the things that you do really well. This list can also include personal qualities such as, are you hardworking, reliable, innovative, etc. It can also be helpful to ask trusted family members and friends to help you build your inventory of assets. Here are some helpful websites where you can find both commonly asked questions and position-specific practice interview questions. Here are some commonly asked practice questions that you should be prepared to answer. Find a trusted and honest friend, professional, or family member who will conduct a mock interview with you. Have them select some questions and conduct an interview so they can provide you feedback. Here are some examples of commonly asked questions. Tell me about yourself. The interviewer is looking for communication skills and clear thinking about your recent history, not your childhood. What is your greatest weakness? Consider some weaknesses. In particular, think of things that you've already improved that can actually be seen as a positive for a position or that you are committed to changing, or things that you are fussy about but other people appreciate. Describe your most significant accomplishment. Relate to the situation, the obstacle, and the outcome. Tell what qualities were needed to achieve this. You don't have to confine your discussion to work-related accomplishments. You could mention a life experience that illustrates your best attributes. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? You should assure the employer that you're worth the investment in time and training, and that you plan to be around for a while, learning and contributing more along the way. How do you handle stress on the job? Provide a good example of how you have dealt with stress in the past. It's possible that stress can actually help some people perform better. It can be helpful to use the STAR format when answering behavioral interview questions to provide thorough and concise details without going on a tangent and rambling on. S. Situation. Set the scene and give the necessary details of your example. T. Task. Describe what your responsibility was in the situation. A. Action. Explain exactly what steps you took to address it. Lastly, result for R. Share what outcomes your action achieved. Here's a quick example of the STAR format. The question was, tell us about your previous role. The original answer, in my previous role, I managed the accounting project team. Here's what could be your STAR answer. In my role as a business manager, I led a 6-person accounting team in the design and implementation of new reporting procedures with a time savings of 15%. Before the interview, plan ahead. Make sure you know where the interview will be held and how long it will take you to get there. Give yourself some buffer time in case of traffic delays and plan to arrive 15 minutes early. Get proper rest the night before. Know that you have done all you can to prepare for the interview, and instead of cramming all night, prioritize getting a good sleep instead. Print a copy of your resume to take along to the interview. Print a list of references to provide should the interviewer ask for them. Here are some tips for making a positive first impression. Dress accordingly in professional or industry-appropriate attire. Be friendly, well-mannered, and positive in the reception area. These could be your future coworkers. Smile. Accept a drink of water. You will be talking lots and it's a good idea to pause. Don't diss your current role or employers. And overall, be positive. Here are some tips for during the interview. Listen closely. Feel free to ask for a question to be repeated or ask if it can be rephrased. Take time with your answers. It's okay to tell the interviewer that you need a minute to think about your response. You can also ask to move to the next question and come back to that one if you find it challenging to answer. Respond positively. And lastly, give examples and provide details. Tell stories that illustrate your achievements. The STAR method can be helpful here. The closing. Remember that an interview is also an opportunity for you to ask the employer questions to ensure that this position is a good fit. At the close of an interview, asking 1 to 3 questions shows that you're interested and invested in getting the job. Some questions to ask at the end of an interview include, can you tell me what a typical day in this job would look like? What are the organization's biggest challenges? Do you provide professional development opportunities? And if so, what could those look like? Can you tell me more about the department or team I'll be working in? Ask what the next step is in the hiring process and when they'll expect a decision to be made. Follow up with any actions, such as sending references or credentials. You can also choose to send a follow-up thank you note or email. You may come across some tricky questions in your interview. Your employer can't technically ask you about your relationship status or age. If they do, you can choose to handle it by either calling them on it, avoiding it, or addressing the concern. You may also come across questions that you don't know the answer to. It's okay to be honest, but you can also answer hypothetically. That means imagining you were in the situation and how you would handle it. After an interview, it is important to learn from it. Write down a few notes on questions that were difficult. Reflect on improvements you can make for next time. It can be difficult to accept if you were not the successful candidate, especially if this is not the outcome you were expecting. Remember, handling rejection is just as important as your skills for securing a new role. Allowing rejection to knock your confidence could negatively affect your performance in future interviews. Remember, it's not personal. Keep learning and developing, and rejection is not feedback. Someone else may have just been a better fit. For tuning into today's workshop. Here is our contact information in Athabasca, Barrhead, Westlock, and Whitecourt. Call, text, or email for more information on this workshop or for further information on services we provide in your area. Here's our online contact information through our website and our Facebook pages. Like and follow us on Facebook if you'd like to see more videos like this one. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.